Hey everyone, Dr. D here again with another Top 10.
This time we're going to be looking at the top 10 hardest singles charts to have ever been PFC'd.
If you're ready, let's get started.
Number 10.
Number 10 is London Evolved Version B Challenge. As most know, there are 3 versions of the London Evolved series, with all of the first 444 steps being identical. While version A and C speed up to 340 BPM, version B blows them away by speeding up to around 420 BPM at the end, with plenty of 8th note streams. As far as I know, rin-go is the only player to have PFC'd this song.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Pluto Relinquished Expert. The challenge chart appeared in our top 10 hardest songs, but that doesn't mean the expert chart is easy. If plenty of speed-ups and slowdowns didn't make this challenging enough, this bad boy also requires plenty of foot speed by means of streaming 400 BPM at the end. Only one person was able to clear this song on SN2 during the time it was only Encore stage. Even today, I only know of a few players who can PFC this chart.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Healing Division Challenge. Playing no harder than a 12 for the majority of the song, the ending is a shocker to most, proving why it's an 18. At 360 BPM, this song has some of the fastest crossover sections in all of DDR. Just ask J-Boy. Back in the day, he was the only person to clear Boss Rush 4, and even then, by his own account, he cheated.
So, I finally passed Boss Rush 4. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about it, so I'm going to explain how I did it. And what I did is I cheated. If you look at the chart, you get to this point right here, and it starts going back and forth at the speed of the song, which is 360. And I just intentionally ignored 3 arrows so that I didn't have to turn. So what it ended up becoming is... And that's cheating my way through Boss Rush 4.
Though by most, the use of shuffle wouldn't be considered cheating, but many people in the West would not consider the PFCs done with shuffle legitimate. Undoubtedly, the ending crossovers will usually turn into easy-to-manage streams. As far as I know, only 2 people have managed to PFC this song regularly or using the mirror option.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Antimatter Challenge, probably the most stamina-draining chart on our list. With 700 comboable steps at 400 BPM, this chart forces you to dig deep to full combo it, let alone PFC it. Even the slowdown proves to be tricky and requires lots of practice to master. Of course, the ending climax with one final long 400 BPM stream makes Pluto Relinquish's stream look like a joke. Rosani is the only player I know of to have PFC'd this song, and he's done it more than once.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Fascination Eternal Love Mix Challenge. Being the most jump-intensive chart here, back in the day many thought the song might never be PFC'd. Most players couldn't even dream of full comboing this song, though most of that might not have been their fault. Up until DDRX, there was a well-known jump bug that would cause goods, boos, or misses when step jumps were placed closely together. Many casual players have experienced this with songs like Orion Civilization Mix Expert. Since DDRX2, this bug was fixed and the almost window was removed, making comboing songs like this much, much easier. Even still, this song is a challenge with its unique patterns and speed gimmicks. Very few can claim a PFC on this one, but leave it to Brosani to make it look easy. Before we get down to our top 5, I want to note that as far as we know, all of the top 5 songs on this list have only been PFC'd by one person, just one time.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Delta Max Challenge. Personally one of my favorite songs in chart on Expert, Challenge was a big surprise when it was released on DDR X2. The artist DM Ashura himself wrote the challenge chart for Konami, and he did not know it would end up on an arcade release. The challenge chart is much more crossover, jump, and freeze intensive compared to its Expert counterpart. Unlike the Expert chart, you'll see eighth notes as far as 540 BPM. After years of no one achieving a PFC on this, I started thinking it might not ever happen, until rin-go finally surprised everyone by going out and getting it.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Tohoku Evolved Expert. Right from the beginning, you know the song is trouble with its surprising BPM jump gimmick. It then proceeds to show you it means business by making you cross over and jump at 340 BPM. The blue note triplets coupled with crossovers also proves tricky to time. One of the most notable parts is the middle section, which shocked many players back when this song was encore extra stage only. My method? Count to 7 and pray. Or memorize this evil section. After that is a mix of the earlier steps culminating to the notorious ending, which I might add is the only song in the entire game that has the balls to give you a different jump every time. Also, being at 1020 BPM doesn't help, especially since most players use the 1.5 speed modifier, bringing the total scroll rate to over 1500 BPM. Good lord. I think it's safe to say that no player in the world can sidestep the final note and must rely on a counting method mixed with a way to trigger all panels at the same time. Congratulations, rin-go. What are you going to do next?
Number 3.
The first in our top 3 is Paranoia Revolution Expert. This iconic and difficult song was first released on DDR X3 in its second mix mode, which at the time I did claim if it were to remain only playable in that mode, it would never be PFC'd. After a while being unlocked on normal play, it was still proving to be a hard PFC to get outside of second mix mode. Borrowing all of its steps from previous boss songs, the hardest parts include Paranoia Hades challenge crossovers at 180 BPM, not to mention reading it at only 90 beats per minute, Fascination Eternal Love Mix's jumps, Possessions crossovers, and Pluto relinquished challenges ending run. ICNH has given more meaning to the words spoken by Thomas Howard at the end of this song.
Number 2.
Our number 2 spot goes to Fascination Max Challenge. While only somewhat different than its Expert chart, Max Challenge adds a few nasty tricks of its own. The additional bursts in the beginning wear down on the players, making the rest of the chart that much harder, and hard it certainly is. 400 BPM bursts are not to be trifled with. If that wasn't enough, during and after the stops, the patterning becomes littered with more complicated steps, making the already tiring ending much harder to maintain a perfect combo on. An impressive PFC by Brosani.
Number 1.
Our number 1 spot goes to this eerie song, Pluto the First Expert. The challenge chart was ranked pretty high in our first top 10, but not everyone knows that the Expert chart plays the same, minus the shock arrows. The main reason this song solidly earns its number 1 spot is because of the high speeds and mini tempo changes as well as the technical patterns. Not many can even full combo the 440 BPM run at the end, let alone get away with all perfects. Lastly, it's worth noting that this song might have never been PFC'd if it wasn't for KAC 2013. It ended up being a qualifying song in Region E, which forced the players to push their hardest in order to achieve greatness. Despite being only a 17 when other 18s have been PFC'd, we strongly feel that Pluto the First is the hardest confirmed PFC ever. Well, that's all we got for you this edition of Dr. D's Top 10. If you want more, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button. Before I go, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Silverhawke and Warpdr for their contributions this time. If you'd like to be a future contributor on the Top 10s, be sure to send me a message. Until next time.